Hello, my name is Mark. This is Why I Hate the World. How you guys doing? And this is a video about the Clinton email scandal. And why I'm ultimately still voting for Hillary Clinton, right? So, for those of you who don't pay attention to American politics, basically what happened was that it came out during the Benghazi hearings that Hillary Clinton was running her own private email server, and that some classified information may have been inadvertently leaked through use of this server, and that it was wide open to be hacked and shit like that, right? And then also another controversy came out afterwards about pay to play with the Clinton Foundation, right? Because she used this server for official government business and also for emails for the Clinton Foundation as well. People are bribing her through the Clinton Foundation to gain undue influence with the State Department. So let's handle the first one, that being the classified information part of this. The reason why that's not a deal breaker for me, there's a couple of reasons. The first one being that it wasn't illegal at the time to run your own server. So she wasn't doing anything that past secretaries of state had also done. So if we're going to have inquiries into whether or not her server was secure enough, because that seems to be a big deal in and of itself, is that her server wasn't actually secure enough, and it shouldn't have had classified information on it. Well, if that's the case, then we need to examine what other secretaries of states, and how they had their server set up, right? And whether or not that should just even be illegal at all, right? But at the time, it wasn't illegal. At the time, she was doing exactly what other, people in her position had done before. So I don't see a problem with that. I don't see why it should be different just because she does it, So that's the first thing. The second thing is that of the emails they recovered, she handed over something in the area of 50,000, I think, something like that. And of those emails, something about 150 had classified information on it. And a lot of people were pissed when the FBI decided not to indict based on that. And I could tell you why that they didn't indict. Okay. It wasn't because Hillary Clinton is like super powerful or something like that, or she's too big to jail or whatever. It wasn't because of that. It's because there wasn't enough evidence, okay? There wasn't enough evidence of wrongdoing, because, 150 out of 50,000. Just think about that. I mean, what is that? Like, that's not even 1% of emails. So it's pretty obvious that people weren't dropping it on purpose. And it's also obvious that she wasn't aware that these emails had classified information in them, like that's the thing. I mean, it's out of that's such a small number that it's very it's very highly unlikely that she knowingly, released it on purpose, or that she even knew that her server was being used in this capacity, right? Now, some people are saying well, it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant whether she knew or not, whether she intended to or not. And they compare this to the case of Edward Snowden or Chesla Manning, and those two people released classified information and got the book thrown at them. Chesla Manning is in jail for life or something like that, solitary confinement. Edward Snowden is exiled. He's exiled to Russia. I don't think that's the same thing, because those two people were, their motives are different. Those two people were whistleblowers who, dropped their classified information because they want to improve the country, right? So their motive is completely different. But not only that, the thing is, the truth is that both of those people purposely released that information on purpose, and they knew what they were doing. And they released a lot of it, right? And, so whether or not, because the fact that they are whistleblowers and they were, their motive doesn't really come into it, I think it should, but as far as the law is concerned, their motive doesn't really, I mean, I think there should be a whistleblowers law to, prevent them from being persecuted. And I think there is something in that capacity. It just, the whistleblower law out there doesn't actually apply in this case. If I remember right. I don't know. I might be wrong in that, as far as I'm concerned. But Hillary Clinton is not, this case is different. This case is a lot different than what those two guys have. Those guys purposely released a large amount of classified information, which resulted in, the weakening of national security. They definitely put national security at risk. Hillary Clinton, just had a vulnerable email server and a small percentage of emails that may have classified information on them. So that's the thing, is that they won't release those because it's classified. So, and that information might not have been classified at the time. I mean, there's still a lot of questions, right? So it's a lot different than these two guys, and she shouldn't be persecuted in the same way that they are, She also doesn't get the same defense that they have. But anyway, she doesn't get to say that she was a whistleblower, but still, so I can see, that's one of the reasons why the FBI didn't move to indict, is that there just wasn't enough evidence of wrongdoing. And I think that's what happened, at the very end. The reason they gave was something in the area like that. There was an intent, right? That was the reason. But what really would have happened is that they would have moved, if they would have recommended to indict, they would have lost. Right, this is what would have happened. They would have lost. Hillary Clinton would have got off because, there wasn't enough evidence to convict her, and it would have fucked up the election at the same time, right? And a lot of people out there, kind of wanted that to happen, I think. A lot of people wanted her to get indicted, and they wanted Bernie Sanders to take the nomination, And, don't get me wrong, I would love it if Bernie Sanders was the nominee also. But, that's that's just not going to happen, number one. Number two, it's like, he didn't get the most votes, so Hillary Clinton got the most votes, she deserves to be the nominee. But that's a different video. But I think a lot of people are pissed at that, They're pissed because they think that she stole it from Bernie somehow, and that she's, untouchable, and the FBI didn't go to indict her because she's untouchable, which neither of those things are true, Secondly, so now we have that kind of came and went, and Hillary went down in the polls for a bit, and then she came back up, and now she's going down in the polls again because of the second scandal related to her emails, which is the pay-to-play thing. So if you don't know what's going on with that, basically, the FBI released a bunch of the emails, and the opposition researchers got a hold of it and found some instances where it looks like people have, tried to use monetary donations to the Clinton Foundation to get undue influence in the State Department. The thing is, I'm reading through it, and I don't see the same thing. There are some cases where it gives the appearance of it gives the appearance of that, of what do you call it, when you have bribery. I guess it's not really bribery, there's a word for it, I can't remember, but it's so far there's no smoking gun, as far as I can tell. I'm seeing plenty of cases where somebody gives a donation and then they try to get a meeting and then they get refused, right? I see that. I see other cases where people give donations and they get a meeting when they would have gotten a meeting anyway. And it looks to me that, conflict of interest. That was the word I was trying to come up with. There seems to be some cases of conflict of interest, but mainly, I think one of them was the Bahrain had a deal for some jets that were approved after they gave some money to the Clinton Foundation. But here's the thing: is that there's no smoking gun. There's no email or set of emails that definitively prove that she was influenced by donations to the Clinton Foundation. There aren't any so far. All there really are so far are, it looks to me that people were trying to do that, You know, that some, you know, people were trying to give money and then trying to get favors and it didn't work. You know, that's what I'm seeing so far. I'm not seeing any proof of actual wrongdoing, you know. Now, some people out there, it's enough that this even exists, that, you know, it's enough to not vote for her for the fact that she even has a foundation, that she shouldn't be in that position at all. And if you want to argue at that, that's fine, you know. But see, I don't see any difference here from any other politician who accepts gifts, to be honest, you know. And if you want to talk about, you know, that the system of legalized bribery that we have, then that's a bigger conversation. And then, like, you know, maybe politicians shouldn't run charities. You know, maybe they shouldn't accept gifts or allow themselves to be put in any position that even gives the appearance of conflict of interest. You know, I'm down for that too. You know, but as far as this specific case goes, I don't see anything that would separate her out from, you know, any of the other politicians out there that have, you know, accepted gifts or, you know, have anything like that. You know, in fact, I don't even see her accepting, you know, it's not a gift to her, it's a gift to the foundation, you know. I mean, it's, I don't know, I just don't see the scandal there. I don't see anything that proves to me that she's, like, slimy, you know, more so than any other politician, and definitely not any more so than Donald Trump. I mean, shit. Right? You know, if we want to talk, you know, shady business deals, we can make, you know, we could talk for an hour about all the shit that's out there with Donald Trump, you know, and his you know, he seems to like his lack of ability to fucking pay people and shit like that. So anyway, so that's why I'm voting for her still. I mean, yeah, you know what the thing is, these two scandals are shitty, and they make me realize that, you know, she's not going to be a shining knight that's going to come and, like, change the world, you know. And, you know, and that's the thing, is that any president is not going to do that. You know, you have to keep that in mind. They're just people, you know. But, and she probably won't be the best president ever, but she's better than what is being offered, you know. She's better than Donald Trump by a fucking landslide, you know, a mile. In my opinion, she's better than Jill Stein and also Gary Johnson. I'm not voting for either of those two losers. In fact, I might make another video about them. You know, she definitely is the best choice as far as I can see right now, even with all of the baggage that comes with her. So, and a lot of you out there are going to disagree with me, and you're going to call me a shill, and you're going to say that, you know, I'm part of the fucking Correct the Record, and they're paying, my Jewish overlords are paying me and shit. And say whatever you want to say. You know, I don't care, because this is the truth. So, anyway, adios.